clear up the situation with Dele Alli reading reports that you're looking for a possible replacement. He won't be allowed to go anywhere unless you find a replacement. Can you just clear up what the situation is, if you expect him to still be here when the window shuts?
I expect. I'm saying that since the beginning of the transfer window. I was not expecting anyone to leave. I was not expecting anyone to come. And until now, 27 January, we are almost in the end. I don't believe that anything is going to happen, but it's open still.
So there's still a possibility, although you say expect, there's still a possibility that something could happen with Dele Alli.
No, football is football. Football is football. The transfer window is open. Sometimes unexpected things can happen, but I don't expect it.
Is Jurgen finding that winning back-to-back is a lot more difficult than winning that first time round? And you would know about that because you're one of the few people who've done it. What are those difficulties of winning it a second time?
Now, when you win once, you know that you have the team to win it twice. When you never win it, you have always the question mark of what do we need to win it? We are not good enough to win it. We need to improve to win it. When you win it, you know that you are the best team, and last season Liverpool was not just about winning, it was just about winning so comfortably. So they know the team they are, they know the players they have, and they know that they can do it again. Would anybody expect Liverpool to have a similar run of last season, winning and winning and winning non-stop? I wouldn't expect that, because what they did is so difficult that to win it a second time in the same way is even more difficult. But to win the title again, they can. I think they believe they can, and I believe that that's what they really want. So simple.
The offside rule has been much debated recently. There was a letter sent out to clubs yesterday. I don't know if you've seen the letter yourself, but how referees will interpret situations like the one we saw in the game between Manchester City and Aston Villa. What do you make of the idea of tweaking a rule during the season and saying, well, that goal stood then, but next week, if it happens again, it won't stand?
Not happy with. I believe that now is right, and previously was not right. But I don't think is fair that you change the rule during the season. I don't think is fair.
Chelsea, obviously, I know you've spoken about Frank Lampard, but obviously Thomas Tuchel has been confirmed now as the manager. He's obviously had success in Paris, in the French league. What awaits him? What difficulties and what's different with what faced him with the pressures at Chelsea, that expectation of winning trophies, and just the sheer competitiveness of the Premier League?
You cannot compare the job in Paris Saint-Germain with the job in the Premier League. It's not possible to compare.
So you mentioned Dele Alli. I know you said he was injured, but will he be in the squad tomorrow?
No.
Is that because of any injury again?
Injured. He's injured.
And just in terms of your match at Anfield, are you pleased with how you've responded? You're into the cup final, but are you a bit surprised at how Liverpool have dropped down the league?
You know, but every club, especially the traditional top six, they had these situations. Not one team started winning and is still winning after 19 matches and a few months of competition. Everybody had difficult periods. Everybody had it. Some early, some later, some in the middle. I keep saying that great evolution in the considered theoretically below level team and ambitions. You know, great performances from many of them, very good teams, very good squads. I feel completely natural that some results happen. And then Liverpool had that difficult period where the results were not going in their direction. But the coach is the same, the players are the same, and the team is the same.
And are West Ham contenders for top four after their result last night?
They are winning matches. They have their style of play, and they are winning matches. That's as simple as that. And they clearly show their ambitions by trying to get, and probably they will get, a couple of players until at the end of the month. They are there.
Position that's continually evolving. Do you see it as, what do you see as the challenges of training a youngster in a centre-back role?
The challenges. The most important thing is the talent and the mentality, you know. And some clubs, they have the potential to resolve their defensive problems with money. You know, they put the money on the table and they resolve their defensive problems. Other clubs is not that way. So in other clubs, people has to go in different directions. So Joe has a lot to learn, of course, but at the same time, he has a lot of potential and a great desire. And I'm really happy. We played him in not many matches. Unfortunately, he was not in the Europa League list that could give him some more minutes and some experience. But a couple of times where we played him, the answer was positive. So we are happy with Joe, and we believe that he can be only better.
How do you think you would manage a situation like Liverpool's, where you're so short on centre backs? You know, it seems like a real challenge that Jurgen Klopp's facing.
Well, we played last season, half of the season, without any attacking player. We had a period where we played Lucas every minute of every match. Striker, winger, striker. We lost Son, we lost Kane, we lost Bergwijn, we lost everybody. Lamela, we lost everybody. How did we manage? Miracles, we cannot do it. So to make strikers from right backs or left backs or goalkeeper, Joe Hart, can he play striker because he's very tall and strong? You cannot make miracles. You have to try to compensate with what you have. And Liverpool, when you speak about Van Dijk, you cannot replace. Okay, there are some players that you cannot replace. It's like when Harry Kane was injured, you cannot replace Harry Kane. You cannot replace Van Dijk. You can only replace Van Dijk with Van Dijk when Van Dijk is back. But you know, they have good players. They have experienced players. Fabinho, he can play everywhere. Fabinho can play everywhere. Matip back, experienced player. Jordan Anderson is another guy that with his experience and knowledge of the game, he can play everywhere too. And then they have also a couple of young players that they did okay. And for example, Williams against us, he played very well at Anfield. And sometimes it happens to clubs. But some players are really impossible to replace, and you have to wait until they are back. And that's what is happening with Van Dijk.
This is the second of 5 games in the space of 2 weeks. I know you and I have spoken before about player welfare, whether we're asking too much of the players, and you've just then gone through a whole list of injuries you had last season and other clubs have had this season. Is this getting a little bit ridiculous now?
We have to do it. I don't want to moan. I don't want to complain. We have to do it. I know it's very difficult. It's very hard. But if we are speaking about 3 matches per week, with always 2-3 days in between matches, is doable. Is not a crime. A crime was what we did in August, where we play 4 matches in a week with 1 day in between matches, and we did that for 2 weeks, 7 matches in 2 weeks. That's a crime. But to play 3 matches in a week is a difficulty, but is doable. And of course, you have some special players that you don't want to rest, because when you rest them, the team decreases in potential. But you have to use your squad. You have to play players. That's why you need a squad. That's why you need players motivated. And in our specific case, we went to Wickham with some players that are not playing a lot, but they showed that they had quality, and they managed to give some minutes of rest to the other guys. And that is what a team is, what a squad is, and that's the way we have to face the season.
A couple of weeks ago, I spoke to you before you played. I think it was Leicester. You were talking about how Brendan Rodgers is a friend, and afterwards you speak to your friends. Jurgen Klopp, what's your relationship like with him? I'm not saying you're going to get on the pub with him, but you get on with him?
I don't have Brendan's phone number like I have Nuno. So yesterday I could send my happy birthday to Nuno. I couldn't to Brendan. So through you, happy birthday, Brendan, because me, Nuno, and Brendan, all 3 birthday same day, and you don't forget when you have some friends with the same birthday. I'm not a friend of Jurgen because I never had time with Jurgen. Nuno, he was my player. Brendan, he worked in my club for a couple of years together. So when you have something in common, when you know the person well, you can say, I like him, he's my friend. I don't like him, he's not my friend. With Jurgen, is 5 minutes before a match, 5 minutes after a match. What can I say about Jurgen? He's a colleague that I respect, that I don't have any problem with him, and I believe he's the same with me. No problems at all.
We should get goals tomorrow night, shouldn't we? You've got a great front 3 with one of the best strikers in the world, and Harry Kane. Liverpool have got a great front 3, and admittedly a little bit misfiring right now. So should I be listening to the radio expecting loads of goals?
You know, they scored 2 goals at Old Trafford, where it's not easy to score, and they could score more. And they create a lot of chances. So you are right. They have top-class attacking players. I am right by saying they create chances in every match, a part of scoring or not scoring. So when you create chances and you have top players, you are closer to score goals than not to score. But of course, we are a team that normally is well organized, and I don't think they are going to have an easy match too.
The fact that they're not in the greatest moment at the minute, do you feel as if that is an advantage to you compared with when you played them back in December?
No, I don't feel at all. Play Liverpool is play Liverpool, independent of all the context, independent of everything. I don't feel it is an advantage. I don't feel it is a disadvantage. Simple.
Do you feel as if this is the most competitive Premier League that you've been involved in for a while, in terms of so many teams capable of finishing in the top 4 at the moment?
It looks like, no. I think it's an easy thing for you to do. Look back, go to stats, go to data, and look at it. But I feel that way. I feel a team loses 2 consecutive matches and it looks like is doing an awful season because you look to the table, but then a team wins 2 matches and goes up, and then you think the season is being phenomenal. I think the best thing to do is to play and wait for the end of the season. And in the end of the season, we look to the table and we realize where you end, because to look to the table now is quite confused, especially with also matches in hand. And in our case, played twice against Liverpool, didn't play against Aston Villa any match. It's quite strange. So let's wait for the end.
Tanguy Ndombele is in fantastic form at the minute. How much progress has he made under you, and what have you done to improve him so much?
Was him, his responsibility. We always showed him the right way. We always showed him and demand a lot from him. If I did anything positive with him, I believe it was not to play him when he was not in real conditions to play. And I believe that we used some of the matches last season to expose his fragilities at the time. His physical condition was not especially good, as an example, but it's all his responsibility. Trains very hard, plays very hard with the ball, without the ball. Tactically understands what the team needs from him. He's feeling great. He's feeling very positive. Is his responsibility.
Ben Davies came off on Monday night. Is he going to be fit? And also Matt Doxey, is he going to be fit for tomorrow?
Yeah, and we have more problems than that I'm not going to share. You have to wait for tomorrow, but we have a little bit of more problems than that.
We all know Daniel Levy likes to do business at the end of the transfer window, which is this week. Do you think there will be any comings or goings from Tottenham?
Don't think so. Honestly, I don't think so. As I was saying before, transfer window is open. Anything can happen until the last second. But I'm convinced that nothing is going to happen. If something happened, would be a huge surprise for me.